back to VSG Tea
with Sammi and Bre.
Cheers! Alright guys, welcome back to VSG Tea. Today we have a very special tea. It's one that was highly requested.
Yep,
we have two special guests with us. Do you want to go ahead and introduce your guest?
Yes, okay. So my guest is my boyfriend Brock. Say hi.
Hello.
Awesome, and my guest is my boyfriend John.
Hello.
And we do have a cameo appearance by Miss Penny Sue, who is obsessed with her dad and will not go anywhere without him.
Yes. And put on a very special dress just for the occasion.
Yeah. So we kind of wanted to go and do some background about our different relationships before we get into the burning questions. So I want to know, how did you guys meet and how long have you guys been dating?
So we met.
I was asking Brock.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'll just sit back.
Go for it. Go for it. Yes.
We met via Facebook dating,
Okay.
which is a surprise that it exists. Who the hell knew? But, met via Facebook dating, and we first went out in December of 19.
Okay, December of 19. I love the abbreviation. Is that how you recall it?
Yes, Oprah it is.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, John.
December of 19. I love it. That's so descriptive. Okay, we're off to a good start.
John. When did you meet Bre and how?
Great question.
Thanks.
I met her at work probably around 2014.
Say for the people in the back.
And 2014. And yeah, we didn't really talk at work. I mean, I've seen her in the office. I worked with her on one project, her business cards, and we didn't start talking until 2016 when we met up at a mutual friend's football party.
Football. We like football here.
Heck yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's when we started dating right after that.
It's true. What he says is true.
Those are facts.
Yes, they are. They are. Well, speaking of that, like, what was the first thing you noticed about Sammy?
At what point?
Like
There's
when
two
you saw
different
her.
points.
Okay, there's two
There's
different
the
points.
swiping right on me, or there's the first
Okay,
date.
the first date. The first date after you actually met her.
Probably her smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that would be the first thing you would notice.
Okay.
Oh, well, that she actually showed up. Yeah, that too.
Wow.
Man, okay.
It's always good.
Date.
It's always starting okay from that point. I mean, yeah.
I love it.
Okay, and John, what was the first thing you noticed about Bre?
Her humor, because I didn't see her all the time in her cubicles, but I would always hear her on the other side talking to somebody else, and I would chuckle to myself several times when I hear her say stuff.
What was one of the things you chuckled about? Just asking for a follower.
One of them was we had a coworker who had just a messy work area, and they cleaned it one time, and when they were unveiling it to him, all I heard was, "Move that bus." And I thought that was hilarious. So.
It was a cardboard stanchion. And they literally did.
And I didn't see it, I just heard it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
And I didn't
That's
know
how
that.
Brock wakes up Alexis.
Oh my gosh,
The
really?
Ty Pennington way.
Ty Pennington's my
Good
hero.
morning, Alexis.
Yes.
And I take pillows and I throw it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I don't remember that, but
And
very
then it
Ty.
happened in an extreme go home.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
I love that.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing about Bre?
Jeez. The list is big, but my favorite thing is I want to say it's her humor, but it's mixed with like this childlike, like I can always picture her as a kid when she's goofing around. So it's like I get a little glimpse of who she was when she was younger, and it's just really cool. And I always
So you're
just
saying
kinda
I'm
makes me
youthful.
smile.
So you're saying I'm
I
a
wouldn't
child,
say
I'm youthful,
that,
I'm young. I have no regrets. Flirty, thriving. And then same question for you. What is one of your favorite attributes about Sammy?
Probably that she and I think humor is obviously a big thing for a lot of people. And so it's kind of no different, just that, you know, we can make each other laugh about the stupidest stuff ever. And, you know, it can be a wide range of a day. You could go out and do something, you could be home, and it doesn't, you know, you're able to be laughing and having fun around her, regardless of what situation you're in.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is cute.
I love that.
All right, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a question from our followers. How has, this goes for the both of us, how has weight loss or plastics affected the relationship, if it has?
So how has my weight loss journey affected our relationship?
Thanks, because I didn't understand it before.
Okay. Translation.
It was like I was just trying to think of my answer. You didn't have to repeat the question.
This is an awkward pause. We can't be having that here.
Just that we're both a little more self-conscious or more conscious of what we're eating and how we're eating. I think we just pay more attention to, you know, should we have this? No, let's go with this type of thing. And so I think that's a big thing, in a big way that's changed.
It's monumental. How has plastics and Sammy's surgeries that she had affected the relationship?
I hate to sound pretty naive, but I don't think it's affected it that much on my end. You know, she had her gastric surgery before I even knew she existed, so I didn't really have to deal with that. It's just being a support system for the rest of it. Doesn't really affect anything for me.
That's fair. That's a fair answer.
Yeah, definitely.
I was kind of expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I'm just saying it's fair.
But that's the way it should be. I mean, there's no change in our relationship because of it. It's
right.
Really the only thing was just the food and that whole aspect of.
Yeah.
Well, our Facebook group says otherwise.
Well, I think that could be a difference between
Yes.
between guys and girls.
That's true.
You know, like women could be like, "Oh, I'm so fearful about this, this, and this." You guys' minds is a million miles a minute, and I'm over here like, I got to do this task at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Same
I
with
got
this
to
guy.
do this task at 10 o'clock. You know, I don't connect dots that way. I should say, and I think that makes sense as to why it would be different from. But it's also coming from, you know, potentially a group of people who are already thinkers a lot and are maybe more self-conscious, and so a lot of things can maybe be considered something they would overthink or question and worry about, even if in reality it's not necessarily something to worry about. It doesn't mean it's not normal, but
Right.
you know.
They also might be having issues already before the surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then going through something like that, that's a huge change. So that already puts
That's
an
true.
effect on the relationship. The next question, I think this is just for us, Bre. How do you guys balance eating healthy / having fun? And are you guys ever jealous of how your guy eats?
Oh yeah, I'm jealous of how Johnny eats all the time. I genuinely love the food that I'm about to like devour in my head. I'm like, oh, I can totally devour this, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can only have a few bites. And sometimes it really does bum me out, and then I'm like, oh, John's eating this, and I never would ever comment on like how he would eat before this. And I think now I'm like, what, you're having another plate of, there's rice? Like more rice? And he's like, yeah, I'm freaking 6'2".
Yeah, she
Like,
never
what's your
asked that
excuse?
before.
No, I never did. And I'm
What are you
like,
saying? What's going
yeah,
on?
because I want the rice that he's putting on his plate, but I can literally have a little, like, pea size.
Well, the thing is also now we go out, we eat, or we order food, and she just has just this little bit. So I end up throwing away that, or I also eat that like the next day, and it's like
It's like double the food.
so sometimes I don't like eating that much, but I also don't like wasting money and throwing it away.
Right.
And I'm like,
Appetizers.
Yeah, appetizers.
Yes.
I know, but it's crazy because like I mentally want the appetizer and what I used to eat too, like and
Right.
the entree. So I'm like, I can do both.
Right.
No, I cannot.
It's like we'll be
Splitting
eating, all of a sudden I hear,
plates.
okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
Yeah,
just
he
started.
gave me some of my like leftover ice cream from the other day. And he literally, before he could even sit down after giving it to me, I like had a bite. I'm like, okay, take it away. Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
A little. Yeah.
Yeah, you can relate. Mhm.
Yeah.
What
No,
about
I mean, I have to say the same thing. Appetizers for sure. I think that if you're going out to eat with your significant other, maybe order an appetizer and the meal, just one in one, and then have
Yeah.
like, bites of each. Hopefully you guys like the same things, but
Have you been jealous about how he eats?
oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, freaking, I want
To
the
eat
rest of
at
the food.
this? Yeah.
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 No, and then I'm like, I'm done. Here, you eat that.
Yeah. Totally.
I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna just be the question reader since
Yeah,
you
since I
have
can't
ring
see.
light. So this is just for John. So how is Bre different from now to how she was pre-op? Are there any pros and cons?
Great question.
Now she's more engulfed in this lifestyle. So that's a different thing. It's
Right.
now she's more in tune. She knows what she had to go through, so it's important to her to like help somebody else and kind of like convey that everybody has these same fears. Everybody, is afraid to go through it and kind of apprehensive on how they're going to be after. So she's really conscious of that, and she likes to tell people that you'll get through this part, you'll get through this part. And but personally, there's not a lot of differences, and there's not a lot of changing.
Do you think she's more confident now?
Yeah, she's always been confident, but I think it's kind of like a finely honed confidence, and now she's working out a lot more. Now she looks forward to working out, and so there's changes there too with that.
Thanks. Were you completely supportive of her surgeries?
Yeah, it's not my choice. It's something that if she wants to do it and it's going to help her, I'm all for it.
How did you feel? I have a question too. This was from a follower. This one's from me. How did you feel about how close her surgeries were?
Thanks for the clarification. I really appreciate that.
You're
But,
welcome.
to be honest, I didn't know what was normal or not, so I don't know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Totally, because there's no like
He
handbook.
wouldn't know that they were very close together.
Right, in like a typical
I
sense.
did think that when she was trying to do them all 2 for 1, I thought that was like a lot. But
Right. Yeah, no, we all
I
said
was
on
like,
that
you're
one.
going to be in like a marshmallow suit. like
Yeah.
like the big bubble boy.
I pretty much
look.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would have definitely been in that if you did them all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't. No, I don't think that's an option.
Right.
But
It's pretty
It
rigorous.
was.
I wanted it to be. I wanted it a one shot, one kill, but no.
They basically almost went up to the point of no return, and then with it going to be all at the same time though.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we were students.
No, we were students.
Tea.
Like we were soldiers, but we were students. Wow.
Were
That's
you
easy.
supportive of Bre surgery?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know the answer.
But again, it's also like you said, it's what she wanted to do.
Right.
So I remember when she first mentioned it and didn't think much of it, and then she kept talking more and more about it. So then I realized, okay, she's serious about this, and I was confident especially after hearing her come back from talking to the doctor. And when she's confident in who was going to be doing the procedure, that made me more confident. So I was like, okay, I'm good with it. I had no questions, no issues with it whatsoever.
That's fair.
It's fair indeed.
I'm nervous.
I have a pop quiz question.
Oh.
I have a pop quiz question. Brock, do your best impression of Sammy.
I don't know. I don't
brilliant.
really good impersonator of you.
He's really good at impersonating Lex, but I'm curious to see what you'll come up with.
Yes.
I honestly haven't thought about doing it. I gotta marinate on that one.
Okay, do your best Bre impression.
I can't wait.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
you do this and you do this and
That's our secret language. We don't speak of those things.
And it's not really that she's bossy. That's just like
Yes, that's-
little Brie personality is there. So she always.
That one,
Yes.
that one, and that one. I'm sorry. That was good.
I do it daily in the mirror.
Aww.
I guess anytime that there's an animal around, Sam always is just like if it's the cat or if it's the dog or something, she'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, she has this like little noise that she does. I don't know. It's pretty.
Dr.
funny.
Doolittle.
Every time that my cat's around, we're like,
Oh my gosh, like a little vacuum. Called out. Oh my god. Roomba. Oh wow. Wow, that was brilliant. You guys, thank you for sharing that pop quiz moment with us.
a really good question. I'm so glad you came up with
Yes. Just to break it up, I knew we were talking about some serious stuff.
You did.
that. I was waiting for it.
But I can't.
You
I
came
can't
through.
impersonate it very much.
It's
Must be
okay.
your
It's
dad.
okay. It is effort. Okay. So this is for us.
Okay, wow.
What is the most difficult thing to navigate as your body changes?
The most difficult thing to navigate is, I would say shopping for clothes that fit me. I'm just kidding. Actually, no, that is probably my big thing. Like, it's a hard, like, I'm in a very weird in between. What do I do? Do I go and buy some clothes? Do I not? Like, what's going down? But, so like that for me is one because I always have a lot of clothes. Like, I actually have an entire closet full of clothes that never really fit me right. I always bought things like with the intention of, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, like just buy a size down. And so now I'm fitting into those, but then sometimes I'm surpassing those and like I haven't been able to wear them. I'm like, oh, what? I just missed that. Like completely like, opportunity missed because it happened so fast and like we're in quarantine. So we're not really wearing much other than, you know, what you see me in right now. I could live in this. So that's like a big thing. And because it also takes me a long time to get ready because I'm like, I've been trying these things on for the first
But
time.
what do I wear?
But what do I wear? Forget it. I'm not going. Yeah, so I would say like that's a big one. And then also just as soon as I started working out, I know I've been saying this and people are probably sick of hearing it, but as soon as I started working out, I felt so much better. I was feeling like an old flabby lady. And then as soon as I started like getting it together, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. Like there's some muscle here. So, but what about you?
Well, I mean, I'm
These are
not.
different things.
Yeah. So my stage is probably for plastics wise.
Yes.
The first time, my first round, when I got my tummy, my arms done, I immediately wanted to buy bodysuits because I was like, well, hello, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, jeans as well because like now you don't have the, you know, the little roll, even though it's still there. But when I would buy jeans, I was like, well, now my thighs are still big and my waist is small, so like that's annoying. So yeah, buying clothes, that's for sure. That's something very hard to navigate, which is so superficial.
Do I buy the clothes or?
Right. Do you buy the jeans? I was actually set on like buying a pair of good American jeans afterwards because I was like, well, hold on. Like,
Yeah, treat yourself.
yeah. But then afterwards, I was like, well, no, because I still have to go to my surgery. So these are actually good American jeans.
I'm
because
very proud of you.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I mean, I'm done.
Do you mind
So-
if I ask you what size they are?
They're a size 4, and they're a little big. But the size 2 didn't go on my thighs. So Chloe, you got some work to do, honey.
Got some work to do. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, that was the whole premise of the jeans was that they were supposed to be for bigger thighs, smaller waist, and then I put on the 2s, and I was like,
Yeah, you're
that's
just kidding.
okay.
I
That's
can't
those thighs won't work, and now I put on these, and thighs work, and the waist is too big. But you know, it's
Wow.
fine. It's fine.
Wow. Well, they look
Just-
great.
Thanks. But yeah, that was the biggest thing that I think that I had to navigate through plastics. I mean, of course, your body's changing. That's freaking weird as well, and swelling and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I think clothes is. I think that's the top thing in the industry is like
Wow.
clothing.
I'm
No?
shocked. Yeah, we both said the same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you really that shocked?
Well, I was expecting you to say something different, honestly.
What were you expecting?
I was expecting you to say things with plastics, like things that you weren't liking, like because your body has changed so much. But
Yeah.
that didn't really come until your last surgery,
Right.
because you were so happy and pleased with your first ones.
I was.
Mhm.
I remember how I always say, like, you know, before plastics, you're like, you accept what you have. You're like, whatever, I'm supposed to have loose skin. Like, I've lost 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And then after you have plastics and not everything's quote unquote perfect, then you're like, I just get down on myself 100%. So maybe
Right.
that was and still is the hardest thing that I have to navigate is I'm not going to be quote unquote perfect. I'm not going to,
Right.
you know, look like a 20-year-old regular
But you
female.
do. But you do.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. Not to change your answer on you, but I know that you were going through it and you're still navigating through it.
right.
So I mean, yeah, clothes is a huge thing, but you're dealing with, you know,
Yeah, the
multiple
mindset behind it
things.
is very hard.
Yeah.
But physically buying clothes, yeah, that was difficult as well.
Still
yeah,
is,
That's like the most
probably.
like superficial answer I can give. But mentally, yes, I would say the mindset behind going through all of that was the hardest to navigate.
Right.
Anyways, wow, what deep. All right. Do you ever get jealous of the attention that Bre gets online? He's like,
He doesn't
what?
see
What
it.
attention?
No. She's out there to like get attention, so she'll get attention. Not like she's seeking it, but I mean she'll get the attention. That's not a concern of mine.
Yeah, John's the least jealous person I've ever dated in my entire life, or known, period. But he also doesn't follow me. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't follow me on my Journey account, and I'm totally fine with it. I actually really, my account, and I'm sorry to say, but my account was really centered around like women empowerment and my girls. And you guys have all heard the stories of how I am in a club setting. Even like when I was single, like I was basically the biggest, I don't want to say cock block, but I was like the biggest cock blocker of like all my friends, still am. My friends that are married, like their husbands love when their wives hang out with me because they know that I just don't put up with it. So like there's nothing like that that can like even touch my page, basically. I don't entertain it for a second. If a guy slides into my DMs, I usually end up blocking him. They're also usually sugar daddies, so I'm just like, okay, blocked. So there's nothing really to be jealous about, period, with me. But you know. Anyway, same question for you, Brock. Changing the subject.
She's talking about attention. Jeez.
Yes. Do you ever have like? Are you ever jealous of the attention that she gets online?
No,
It's never an issue.
no, it's not really my world. So
Okay.
He's also not jealous whatsoever.
So, Brock, I have to ask you, what do you think about VSG Tea?
I mean, I think that you found a niche of something that's not being addressed. That there's obviously a large group of people who would want the assistance. I mean, you wished you had something like this as you were going through your process and as you continue to go through your process. And so I think that that's a pretty responsible thing to do overall, is you're out to help people, right? And that's what it's about. And then so you found that I wish that I had this, and well, let's do it. And so I think it's a good thing. So yeah,
Do you listen to VSG Tea?
I watch sometimes.
You watch sometimes?
I said I would be the first. I would try and be the first subscriber on the podcast, but
Oh, I love it. Thank you for the support, whenever that may be. Awesome.
Jean, how do you feel about VSG Tea?
The same. And I like how you guys are real. You're not like this trying to be educators and make everything's got to be serious. And we have to take everything serious. You're just you know. It's just like you literally are just watching two friends talk about something that they've gone through, and they're inviting everybody else to kind of share with them. So it's real. So that's what's cool about it.
yeah, if you wanted something super clinical, you just
Go to
watch two
WebMD.
doctors, yeah, just talking about like,
Mhm.
and then you make your incision along the, yeah,
Yeah,
who cares?
that's true. I know, we take a different approach to it.
Like you're like, okay, I trust that you know what the hell you're doing with the surgery. And we talk about all the other bullshit that I got to deal with.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, thanks for answering that. That's cool. But we appreciate your guys' support. Keep it up. Keep
why we're here.
it up. Keep it
That's
up.
why we're here. Doing this. Filming this.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's been the hardest part of this journey?
Think about all the times. Leading up, the day I got home, things like that.
There's been nothing really hard for me or us. I think the adjustments with her were difficult for a while.
Like what exactly? Like what specifically?
Well, you know, you got to follow the certain regimen afterwards. Your post-surgery, how you eat, how you know, you got to measure everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you know, something that it dragged for her. It was not something that, you know, she didn't enjoy it, but it was, you know, you have to take this medicine or you have to do this, and you can't take this, you can't eat this, and you got to portion out this. And that was, strangely enough, it seems like it didn't last long, and it disappeared pretty quick.
Right.
But that was the real kind of difficult thing. Everything else, I think because of the community and the friendships she's made with it, I think it's really helped her. And if there was a lot of difficulty, she might have like internalized it or only expressed that to people that she's talking in the community, like yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
there was not a lot of it came out, and it's not like she keeps things from me. It's just I think she learned how to deal with something pretty quick. You know, she didn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't just like hold on to it. It's like, oh, okay, everybody else is doing that. I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
You know, it's not a doctor saying, oh, don't worry about it. It's other people who've done it, gone through it, and just like you guys are showing other people, you know, other people have also shown you that let's not worry about this.
That's true.
There's been very minimal difficulties.
So it's because I had all of my friendships.
Yes.
So you're saying I'm perfect.
No.
Okay. Why am I not perfect? Let's just say it. You can
I
say
don't
it.
think you have enough space on that card.
That's a
Wow. That's a complicated question. We're not going to get into it. Okay. Thank you for
That's a
that.
trick question.
Yeah, it's a trick question. Exactly. Okay. So what has been the hardest part about this journey with Sammy?
Probably because I like a lot of relationships, I think that guys have this ridiculous predisposition to always want to fix stuff, right? And so that it's something that I'm obviously woefully ignorant and unprepared to be the best, like, in the trenches support. So she'll like say something about, oh, this is, and I'll be like, oh, like, well, then how do we fix it? And she's like, you just work through it and whatever. So it's good to have VSG Tea also as its own process of helping. Not all, it's kind of piggybacks off the last one, but it's kind of cool because not only are you guys providing help to people, but you're finding ways to get that help too. You're able to utilize that information that you get and disseminate, right? So you're able to fix it yourself, which is good. And so it's more of like a moral support deal, but kind of getting to the point where it's like, I'm not fixing a problem, you know, that's kind of.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I feel like the more that we are kind of like teaching, we're also learning and absorbing and like
Right.
putting it into play. So I love that answer.
I'd be
Yeah.
really interested to hear what a male who's gone through the surgery, how his significant other, if he has a girlfriend or a wife, what they're
Going through.
going through, or you know, if he has a boyfriend or whatever it is. I'd be very interested to hear what that answer would be, because we're obviously going based off of just, you know,
Women's emotions.
women who have boyfriends. You know, that's
Right.
would be a very interesting question in terms of that for them.
That it's interesting because like from my perspective, like John and I obviously like with quarantine, like relationship weight, obviously there was some relationship weight. And so like I've known John like when he's like super fit, like that's when we started dating, and then he got really super fit last year around this time. And then, I know him like now, and I honestly like I'm not just saying this, I'm blinded by love, but like I really can't tell like a difference, honestly, because like I just so I do understand that too. Like when men are like, I just really, like I love you for you, and it's like, no, you don't, it's because I'm fat, and it's like, well, what the heck? Because I think this about John. John's not fat, like in any sense of the word, but like I'm just saying that like when he's like at his like fittest, and then when he's like off season, I would say like it's the same feeling for me. Like I still think I'm still like there's still like that attraction, and like I don't think that there's any difference between that. Right. So when you hear men say that, why don't us as women believe that? Now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into it. It's so true. It's like I don't know how else to explain it, but
because like everything else, you always hear the negative stories of every situation. Like in the media, it's always the negative. You don't hear a lot of positive. You don't hear. It's like people only complain. They don't rejoice. As much. You don't always hear the good stories. It's always kind of like a special thing when you hear that. It's like that should be the norm.
Well, it's kind of like they say that for every negative feeling that someone has, they tell 11 people. For every positive feeling they have, they tell 3.
What?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Dang, that makes sense.
So, I mean, that just goes for...
The negative thing outweighs. I mean, we've had a great smashing night, darling, but of course we hear one negative thing and I'm like sulking on it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but...
It's like you forget the ratio of like, oh shoot, like there's
a big
1,500 positive things to like this one negative thing, and the one negative thing is gonna drive you nuts.
Oh yeah, totally.
I used to do that in the beginning of our relationship.
But I would always try and tell Sam that it's like, okay, what? So like the 1,500 positive things don't matter? Like it's one thing, and it's something you can look to improve on. Or maybe you look at it and you're like, no, that's kind of bullshit. Like, I actually think we're okay on that. So who cares?
Yeah. Okay.
Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep.
Okay, so that's how you deal with things, because I definitely feel like I am a lion, but I still think about the sheep. Yep. But I don't want to hurt you. But
he said that last night. He was like, "What's my favorite phrase?" And I was like,
lions.
Wolves. And he was like, close, but lions.
Yeah, do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yes, wise, very wise. Amazing. Okay. So Brock, I have a question from one of our followers.
Oh my god.
They asked, how did you know that Sammy was the one?
She goes, no, I think that, just it kind of to come full circle, kind of just piggybacks off the first or second answer that I gave, is that that you can be yourself in any moment, and that we went to pick up Lex from school the other day, and I happened to be there, and I was like, oh, okay, here's what I'm gonna hide in the back of your car. We're gonna see how long it takes her to notice that, like, stupid stuff like that like you can just do is like, what, if it's not work, then it's fun, and that's fine, and that's the way it is, and that's what it should be.
Yeah.
So I know it's kind of a weird answer maybe, but I don't know.
No, I get it, because like are there times where you like step back and you're like, okay, this is gonna be like the rest of my life, like you like little, just could be like little moments like that.
Yeah, sure. For sure. I think that anyone can go through that in a relationship.
I want to hide, but you're present.
Right?
But I can't. But you can't join the film being filmed.
I think that that's something that anyone can go through in a relationship, even if sometimes that relationship doesn't end up working out, right? Like, there's no point in being in the relationship at all if you don't see that final destination, not like the horror from the film's Final Destination or whatever.
I'm like, that's where my mind went. That's mine too. My house came out the fan. I'm like, oh yeah.
You're like, I just like the paranormal activity thing or whatever.
Yes.
No, but like, if you could not see that, then I think that there's not the point of being in it. You're just wasting, everyone's time, including your own, right? And so, like, yes, you should have those moments.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
John.
I like that because it's true. It's like you don't have one moment. You have like a continual stream of moments. You know, there's a lot of moments where you in your head it just kind of hits like, well, this is going to be great doing this again in 20 years. You know, or doing this for 20 years. You know, and it's also whenever she tells me that
What do I tell you?
this is a forever thing.
Oh, I say that. Those words come out of my mouth.
Not exactly,
Oh,
but
what do I say? What do I say?
you're gonna believe what I tell you to believe. So, no, I'm just kidding.
What?
You're being bossy, since you're telling me that's how it's gonna be.
Wait, go back to so what do I say, that this is a
No,
forever
no.
thing? What? Give me an
All the
example.
time. I mean, just stuff that we do. Oh my gosh.
It's so real. It's overwhelming. Oh.
No, I don't want to talk.
No, one of his nicknames is my forever boy, my forever prince boy, and it's because I guess I do say that word quite a
But
bit.
we have those moments. It's just a lot of it's based on humor, but not all of it. And it's just there's tons of moments that just.
R.I.P. Harambe. Our new one is R.I.P. Harambe because we were watching Married at First Sight, and one of the dudes, the strangest one, had an R.I.P. Harambe t-shirt. Do you guys know that story? The gorilla.
Yes.
And we Googled it. And we
It's a tie-dye shirt that had a picture of the grill and said R.I.P. Harambe.
It's been a while. It's like, damn it, Harambe. Like, why'd you just do that?
Why'd you leave us so soon?
Why'd you leave us so early?
Go.
Yeah.
You're just like, it was like in the middle of a touching moment, you're just like, R.I.P. Harambe.
It's because that's how my brain works. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm like crying. I
I know.
Leave it around, and that's funny.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You gotta have humor, and honestly, too, if you are single out there, ladies and men, go for the nice one, because the nice ones are the ones you're gonna probably end up marrying. Just letting you know, the bad boys and the bad girls, they're not worth it. Period. And honestly, if you click and if you have that humor, and if that's the base and foundation of your relationship, you guys, believe and mesh on the same things and respect each other, boom, you have yourself a beautiful future together. So, just a little reminder, a little fresh reminder, because we have both been on opposite ends of very different relationships, and it's just not been worth it. If I would have if I knew that there was somebody like this out there, I would have waited the entire time until I had met him. So have respect for yourselves. It's not worth it to be in anything toxic. It's 2021. What are we gonna do?
Wow.
Yeah.
Come off here.
R.I.P. Harambe, okay? R.I.P. Harambe.
Harambe, you were missed.
Yeah, Harambe. You're missed.
All right, well,
Yeah.
do you have any other questions? Because that was our last one.
Do you have any questions for us? And in this process, anything you've been wanting to ask us?
Oh, that's a good one.
They're gonna be like, no, it's fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Great. We know the chatterboxes are the relationships. We know who keeps this train going.
How do I jump
Train
off
was
this
a
train?
bad God. You're never jumping on this train. You were gonna start the speed up. Never mind.
Shoot, shoot,
Oh man.
Just like I don't want to jump.
This is a
Right now I
sad
feel like that hobo who jumped on the wrong train.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Wait, what do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Just support them.
You are only on the train.
So now you're saying you're a homo? Can't deal with these hobos.
You're a homo
Can't deal with them.
I guess
Well, this took a
my
turn.
question would be, what was your fear going into it because I'm sure all the people that go through it have a similar fear, but I guess I never understood what the hell would be your fear about how it would affect, you and me.
Oh, great question.
Oh.
Spicy on the dot. Edit that out.
No, keep that in. You want real, that's real.
I'm spicy on the nut.
That's every night when the sun goes down.
Okay. We brought Stitch for this one.
You need a breadstick?
I brought Stitch. Stitch out. Experiment 626. I thought you said I need a breadstick after this one. No, when you say wait for the breadsticks. This girl's talking about breadstick or French baguette. Oh my gosh. Okay. Don't give me French baguette.
Don't forget, bottomless breadsticks at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Salad too, though.
Sponsor us.
Give her will do. Are we, well, for us, plastics, obviously. My whole issue was I was not going to date before I had my plastics
How'd
done.
that work out?
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I just like met this nice boy named Brock, and here we are. No, I was obviously. I was just worried that going through something like that would be like traumatic for you. I'm like nervous, but
You showed your SpongeBob thing, so you're fine.
yeah, I had my SpongeBob arms.
There were these yellow foam things that she had to rest her arms on.
Oh.
Yeah, because they looked like SpongeBob because they were yellow and then they had holes in them. They looked like a little sponge. So I had my arm in them like this.
In the hospital?
No, at home too.
Oh, at home.
Because it would hurt to put my arms down.
And so they had to
So
stay.
they had to stay elevated. So I had to wear them. But it was a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was like one thing after another, the drains, all of that. And for the most part, I did not want you around. You know that. But he is Brock, and he was like, no, I'm going to come hang out with you. And we'll just sit and watch movies. And I was more like, but how are we going to go outside and play football? How are we going to throw balls? But I think that was what I was most afraid of, is that was going to scare you away. Because that's a big thing to go through with somebody. Obviously, it did not.
Wait, what?
We're talking about
Like
plastics.
Like, did not what?
Did not scare you away because you're here.
I thought you were saying did not go through. I was like, I'm pretty sure I was there.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
No, I was scared that it was going to scare you away. Because it's a big thing.
Yeah,
I
wanted to watch
totally
Den
get
of
that.
Thieves.
What? You wanted to watch Den of Thieves?
What is Den of
Is that
Thieves?
Is that the
Sounds
one you
intriguing.
watched?
Yeah, I don't know. I was high as a kite. I
I
don't
know
know.
you It's the one where they steal money from the Fed and
Oh, we've seen
in
it?
Los Angeles. And what's his name? O'Shea Jackson is in it.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. It's
Wow.
on Netflix.
Okay. Alright, forget it. I won't even pay attention. Never mind.
Because I was really high. I don't remember the movie.
Yeah, you're really gonna trust that one.
I know, I'm like, wait a minute, you weren't even there.
You weren't even around.
Yeah.
No.
That's true. No, I totally can relate to it, because I was like, I had some very vulnerable moments, and I was just like, even looking at, I found some pictures on John's phone that he took when I was like basically home for the first time after surgery, and I was like, what the shit? Like, I looked like this, and you still stayed with me?
Okay, that's how I felt before
Yeah.
my plastics too. I'm like, damn, you're a freaking trooper.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you just don't. Again.
That's just both of you just overthinking things and worrying about, what you shouldn't,
Us overthink. Never.
Never. Never would talk to my
Never heard
life.
it.
Yeah.
I've never
I won't
thought
hear of it. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, John says too, is like something that's kind of like a unique perspective is, and if you guys saw our first video together before surgery, we talked about this a little bit too. How you were saying like you didn't think you didn't think that I needed surgery, and this is what you said on our video. And now that we've seen these pictures, and now that we've like seen like the transformation, because like you will say like little comments to me, and honestly it's only been like 1 or 2 comments where you'll be like, I didn't even realize, you might have only just said this once to me. You're like, I didn't even realize that you were this weight. But he didn't say it like that. But he said something like
Not in a mean way.
like not in a mean way, but
you were
he's
just
like, I didn't even, like, I can't believe how different you know, you look then, like I thought that, can you expand on that a little bit? You haven't said any, this guy couldn't be, like, it's not even possible for this guy to have a mean bone in his body, so it's not like that, but like just how we've talked about like the physical transformation.
That wasn't something that, like when you first brought it up, I was like, okay, why? You know, type of thing. I mean, I see a transformation now because I see the clothes and how they fit. But
you've said things like physically about like, remember pictures, my side-by-side pictures. What have you said?
Well, you see a change now, but it's like at the time, it's like I didn't really
Realize.
I didn't realize it. It wasn't something that I was, you know, I focused on or even paid attention to. That's your breed. So it's like I didn't care about that.
I think that's something that people need to hear, because what we were talking about before about how, like, you know, I was trying to say it doesn't really matter to me, like this still the same person. I think that it's important for you guys to hear from a man's perspective too, because that's real. Like we really are our biggest, you know, our worst critics, and you have to go easy on yourself because there's gonna be no one who's harder on you than yourself.
It's always easy to go the fear route. Fear is very easy to latch onto. And, you know, it's like you want to, you have to like be open to hearing something positive and then thinking positive. Because you always think, oh, the other person's just, they're not going to like me. Then there's this going to be too much. And it's like, it probably isn't going to be. It's probably going to be something that they're anticipating being right there for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was thinking like specifically about plastics too, because like there's obviously like the physical excitement after plastics, especially if you're getting an enhancement, like, you know, breast augmentation, because it's exciting, and like you obviously are doing things for yourself, of course, but you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so exciting for like, you know, my partner, and you know, it's all this stuff. So like, how was that for both of you guys? I want to know how that was for both of you guys. Like that, was there like excitement over that?
I was excited to finally feel confident in that
Setting.
in you know, changing clothes, a bathing suit, whatever have you. I was that was what I was most looking forward to, was like being able to be like, okay, like I won't have to wear a big t-shirt. I won't have to always wear a bra, you know, whatever have you. But yes, that's where I was most excited for. But because you, especially with being someone that you're new with. I mean, we were together for how many months? Like 6? Yeah, about 6 months before I had my first round of plastics.
Time has flown by. Yeah,
I know. So for 6 months, I was again, you know, hiding pretty much everything. I lived in long sleeves and long pants. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't remember.
Your bodysuits.
Freaking guy.
Yeah. Can't recall.
Oversized t-shirts, long sleeves. Yeah. You know, I unfortunately was not one of those people that just was like, this is who I am, accept it. Like, you know, I tried my very best to not let him see that.
Yeah.
I did.
I hear you. And now, fast forward. Okay, then, so you can answer.
What was
The same
question?
thing. Oh, the same thing was like, how was like the, like for her, and like, was there like excitement and like build up to like, okay, what's the final result going to be?
For
On your end. It's a pretty
I honestly
interesting question.
don't think so. I mean,
You're just like, this is what she wants to do?
yeah, yeah. I think.
Probably because I hit it so well. He's like, well, I don't know what's going to be different.
Right.
She's going to take her top off, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe this time.
No, I really didn't. You know, that was just, if it's something that she wants to do, make her happy, and it's part of the process for some and not for others, and that's okay. But if it's for her, then that's cool. Like whatever. I didn't really have like it wasn't like some kid on Christmas type of shit. You know?
Okay, but now that you've seen her new packages, like, is it like a kid on Christmas? Like, is there excitement there?
I think she looks very good.
Okay. Okay, I love it. Just gotta get that out. So I know that people are probably thinking it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we got a little situation going on too.
I know. So I was gonna say the exact same question. I mean, just the exact same thing. Like, how's it now for you?
Well, I mean, just the other day I cried to him because I felt my implant literally like flip, basically. And I was like, that's not normal. What is that?
Normal,
what is that feeling? And I like sat up and like felt very weird, and then just cried to him, being like, this is not fair. Because again, you're with this is, I mean, we're not new, but we're new-ish. And you want that. You want, we've had this discussion many times. You want the new boobs. You want to be like, hey, boobs. But,
Right. Do you ever get concerned that she doesn't really have like the aftercare that she needs, like with the surgeon? Because like my number one concern as your friend is the fact that you don't have a surgeon that you can go to your questions with.
right.
Ask your questions for.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an important piece that she is, you've talked to her about, and that she's identified that she wants to work on. I think that, not to be too frank, but I think she's got to do a better job being willing to ask for help. And I think that that's probably just something that, I mean, everyone struggles with that in some sense, and so I just think that this is the category or area that she really has the biggest struggle asking for help with. So I think that that's part of it too. But, I also think that, kind of dialing back a little bit is, where you're talking about, do you see the transformation, like the side-by-sides and stuff, and how everyone's their own biggest critic. That's the case with her too, and I think that's the case with everybody, right? But when you're going through that, to have someone who can also be like, hey, like, this is, I can see it happening, I can see it working, is important, because obviously I think mentally for those of you going through it, if you're like, great, no one's saying shit, this is awesome, that's probably tough too. So making sure to have someone around you that's probably going to be willing to say things that are positive, like, not just be like, oh, okay, like, oh no, like, it looks like this is going the way it's supposed to, how is everything feel, like, someone that really cares and checks up, too. That's important. And that's obviously an important resource that I think the community does for each other in itself, which is good.
Yeah.
But I think that that's probably something that is important for others to participate in as well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
It is support.
Yeah, I know. It really has been. Yeah.
He's honestly my biggest, he's shy on camera, but he is my biggest hype man and support system too. Because like I'll have my moments. I have my moments. But he's like, no, you look so good. I'm like, no, but I'm not. Look at this.
Yeah.
I don't like this. But he's always like, no, you're not. You look fantastic. Think of everything you've been through. Yada yada yada. But like we always say, we're always our worst critics. So
that's amazing. Yeah, I know. I can't picture us going through this process without our support systems with us.
No, absolutely not.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll have people slide into my DMs and be like, hey, do I need anybody with me, like right after surgery? And I'm like, hun, yes, for I would say a few weeks. I think that you do.
Right.
So, and then obviously
somebody.
Somebody. So like we've been really blessed to have our guys, and thank you guys so much for supporting us in VSG Tea and for being on our podcast today. Yes.
They're gonna ask, when will this come out?
Yeah, I know.
They're like, hopefully this will never come out.
Yeah, exactly. A few months when we get it edited. That's our average.
Yeah, at this rate.
Totally. Awesome. Well, thank you again, guys.
Of course.
Yes. And then you guys can follow our journeys with our dudes by just following us, because John doesn't even have an Instagram.
And Brock won't accept your request. So don't try.
Yes. Awesome, guys. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.